I will try to target those customers which are buying in cash, and I will target those vendors which are giving goods on credit. And whatever the cycle I can use from the working capital cycle, I will try to use that cycle and will generate the profit. And out of that profit, I will keep reinvesting the money till the time I become big. So that's the only advice I will give to all the investors, all the businessmen, that when you do have limited resources, try to manage your resources well and try to maximize your turnovers of these money.
Namaste and welcome back to FinTalks, the podcast that helps small business owners and entrepreneurs to grow financially. I'm your host Ajay, and in our previous episodes, we discussed that how small businesses struggle financially. But today, now we are shifting our focus from struggles to solutions. And here me joining once again, person whose insights are practical, grounded, and transformative. And these are not just the words; these are the personality traits that that the person himself holds, and these are from his past 14-year experience. So please welcome our beloved business strategist, Mr. Rachit Agarwal.
Hi Ajay,
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm great. You say, how are you?
I'm totally fine, sir. So the today's topic of the video is profit versus wealth. So, sir, let me ask my first question to you. Everyone talks about profit, but very few talks about the wealth. What do you think? What do you think? There is so much difference between the two.
Ajay, what we have seen now, profit is the one thing which has been told to us from the very beginning. When we started our business in the ancient times, now the only thing which has been told to us is the profit. So I usually talk about the forefathers. What the forefathers has told to us about the businesses is that the business should be profitable. If the business is not profitable, then the business is not a business. So the basic understanding of the business is that if the business is having a profit, then only it can sustain. Otherwise, it cannot be sustained. Yes, of course, that was the basic instinct which should be looked upon in the earlier stages, in the earlier ancient times. But when we talk about the 21st century, it is very much important to look into the wealth of the company. And if you are not looking into the wealth of the company, that means you are ignoring the most important essential part of the business, which is required in the current scenario. See, I will take an example, and I will tell you what is the power of this particular thing. Why wealth is very much important. See, you have seen one of the company which has gone to the valuation of 300 crores, that is minimalist. And
Yes.
when we talk about minimalist, they have
Yes.
started sending some small miniatures of the cosmetic products to various people, some through free modes and some through the very little price of it. Now the Tata company has taken over this company at the valuation of 300 crores. But do you think that they were making a great amount of profit? No, they were not making a great amount of profit. They were even not generating such a huge profits, and in fact they got the valuation of 300 crores. So when I talk about the wealth part of it, now in the current scenario, when we are talking about the wealth, where I'm talking about the wealth is essential part of it. It is very much required that we as a businessman focuses on wealth rather than on profit. If we will focus on profit only, that will not be a sustainable solution, because it may be possible the company is generating profit, but in the future course of business that doesn't have the wealth, because it cannot generate that profit sustainable in a sustainable manner. So when we talk about the wealth, it is, yes, of course, the most important part, and but people are usually concerned about the profit. That is with the 99% of the people who are into a business, but now the new generation which are coming to a trade, and the new philosophies which are getting into the businesses, the wealth. So you must consider about the wealth before going into the profit part.
Was the great insight. Now, coming back to the next question. From your experience, why do small businesses equate more sales with more success?
Uh-huh. See, it's been like that. If you have run fast and you have covered a lot amount of distance, you will get a good health. That is a misconception, a myth behind this particular thing. That if you have done a more sales, then it will be a more you can say success. But the basic part of the sales is that if you're having a great amount of sales, like you take a commodity market, take any of the commodity in commodity market like steel, cement, or whatever it may take, they do have the very little margins, and they are giving a great amount of sales, say 400, 500 crores, but they are not generating a huge amount of profits in that. So if we talk about that thing, the profit, if the sale is the measurement, then these company must have the greatest valuation, but it is not so, because that profit cannot be gained, cannot profit cannot be grown substantially in the coming future. So the most important part in every business is the proportion of profit. The sales is important, but the only factor which can determine the success of the company is not the sale. It should be linked with the profit and the wealth creation of that company, the sustainable scalability of that profit. If the profit can be scalable in a sustainable manner and in continuous consistent manner, then only you can say the company is growing and the company are generating a wealth. So it is a myth, I believe, which is there in the market, that the more amount of sales means more success. It doesn't tell the real story. Some of the companies which are having a very low amount of sale are doing a great job in terms of their valuation. So even I've talked about the minimalist, one of the example. You can say,
Yes.
sugar is one of the example.
Yes.
Sugar was not generating a great amount of profit. Even they are not generating a great amount of sales in the earlier phase, but they are generating a great amount of wealth because of the valuation. So that is a pure myth, that the greater the sales, the greater the success.
Thank you for those insights. Now, coming back to the next one, what is the simplest way to explain the difference between profit and wealth to a business owner?
See, it is 100% like, one profit is like you are losing your weight in 100, 200, 500 grams in a month. And wealth is something which you have created over the years. Over the years means from the very beginning, what you have gained till now is your wealth. So if you have reduced your weight 10 kgs and you're maintaining that 10 kgs weight reduced, that means you have created a wealth. And that if you have reduced 1 kg or 2 kg in a month and you gain another 4 kg in the next month, that is a loss. So when I talk about the profit and versus wealth, wealth is a long-term concept. It has been built through a sustainable profits, where the business does have the capacity, or the methodology, or the byproduct of, you can say the wealth is the byproduct of profit, but the profit is consistently required in your business. When the profit has been consistently being generated in a consistent manner and in a growing stage, then you can say yes, the company is generating a huge amount of wealth. And that in itself, accumulation of growing profit in a near future, where you can see that this business will be generating a huge amount of profit in the coming future. That is the wealth portion. And if it is, when we talk about profit, is a current measurement of the business performance. So yeah, of course, these both are different terms, but both are interlinked with each other. Profit is relatively a smaller term, and wealth is a relatively a larger term. And wealth is more or less linked with more than just a profit. It is about the sustainability and consistency of the business. So I believe that gives you answer.
Nicely explained, sir. Why is focusing only on profits is considered as a short-term mindset?
Yeah, of course. See, as I already told you about your example of just losing your weight. See,
Yes.
if you lost 2 kgs in 1 month, and you are again gone up to 4 kgs in the next month, so it will be a short-term mindset. It will
Yes.
not be a long-term mindset. So sustainability is the most important thing in creating wealth. And when we talk about the profit is of course the short-term mindset, because you're talking about the current phase. You're not talking about the future things. What will be the future of this company? How you will expand in the country or in the global arena? What will be the products? What will be the expansion line? How you will generate further 10x of the profits from this company? How you will generate more wealth for the shareholders? So that is the concept which is relatively higher gauge than the profit. So I believe wealth is the most important thing in generating the wealth. In wealth is the most important thing in the in terms of the life of the company, in terms of the future of the company, in terms of the valuation or wealth of the person or the shareholders attached to it. So yeah, of course, profit is relatively very short-term mindset, and if you talk about the long-term mindset, the weight should be lost and it should be maintained, and that is the base with the business also. The profit should be earned, and it should be continuously earned and grown in terms of new numbers and in terms of relativity.
Thank you, sir, for this insight. Uh, I'm curious about the next question. Can a business be profitable and still financially be weak?
Yeah,
And
very,
how?
very good question, Ajay. I believe this has been a myth which has been busted around, and I believe this myth that if the company is generating a continuously generating a profit, and that means the company is financially stable and has been doing good. No, it's not the case. It may be possible that even if you are generating a great amount of profit in the business, your financials are not well managed, your cash flows are not properly managed. So it may be the situations where we have seen that even the company are generating a great amount of profit, not are not managing their wealth well. So they may have invested in some of the businesses where the investment is not getting the proper return out of it. So there may be instances where we have seen, even the company is generating a great amount of profit, are not generating a great amount of wealth. So let me take one example. You have seen, see, Anil Ambani's Reliance Power
Yes.
and Reliance Telecom, I believe. At that point of time, Anil Ambani is having a great amount of wealth, and the companies are generating a great amount of profit. Even after generating a profit, they expanded into these segments,
Yes.
and they have invested like hell, lakh of crores rupees in these companies, and they failed in that particular vertical. So your even your one decision can be a reason for your say for your downfall. So if this is a myth that even if the company is generating a great amount of profit, doesn't mean that the company is financially stable. There may be shortcomings, there may be investment decisions which have gone wrong, there may be cash flow issues. That means, see, you have done a sale of 1000 crores, and your book debts as 2000 crores. So whatever profit you have generated are in the books only, and that will be that then in the future it will be that bad debts. So what will happen? This profit will not be converted into the cash part of it.
Yes.
So I believe the most important part is that you do have the control on the cash and the sustainable strategic development. If you don't have the strategic decision properly, it may be possible that your company may lose a great amount of wealth.
Greatly answered. Now, regarding the asset part, I have more question in the line. What role does reinvestment and asset creation play in wealth building?
Yeah, come again, sorry.
What role does reinvestment and asset creation play in wealth building?
Yeah, it's a very important question with regards to the creation of wealth. Whenever you say when you have to create a wealth, you have to take an approach of see, we have to take an ancient approach of creating a wealth. See, our forefathers, what they have done, how they have created the wealth is the most important thing. You should look forward. What they do, they usually take the gold in their hands and they invest in the gold, and they put that gold inside the house, whatever they give that to their ladies, and the ladies handsomely made take care of these jewelry,
Yes.
and this jewelry will now be invested in the, see, your money has been invested into the jewelry or gold jewelry or diamond jewelry, whatever, usually gold jewelry in the ancient times. So that was the way the money has been converted into a wealth. At that point of time, it may be possible that the, say, rates are, for example, let's say 1000 rupees per 10 gram was the rate. Now, after, see, for example, after 40-50 years, now 40 years, now the rates are like 1 lakh. So your wealth has created 100 times of that. So that same way, in the same manner, that was the profit which has been reinvested in the gold. Now if you want to generate the wealth of the company, you need to reinvest this money into the profit generating asset. So what is the profit generating asset? The profit generating asset is in itself your business, because it is generating a great amount of profit. For example, you are generating 30% on your investments, and you generated a profit of 100 rupees, and then you reinvested that 100 rupees into the business. Now what will happen? This 100 rupees when reinvested will generate 30 rupees additional, with additional from the original amount of capital which was invested earlier. So this regeneration will happen only when the amount will be reinvested in the business, and that will be a capital growth of the company. So there are two ways into it. Whenever you do generate the profit, there can be two things with that. One can be reinvestment, other can be, it can be given to the shareholders. So if the money has been given to the shareholder, it will not regenerate that profit even, and you have to even pay the tax on that, on the remaining part of it. So the wealth will deteriorate in that manner. But if the money has been reinvested into your business and the business is generating a good amount of profit, see, you have to see, while taking a reinvestment decision, it has to be seen whether your profit is your business is a profitable one or not. If your business is not a profitable one, you should not reinvest. If the business is your profitable one and it's generating a greater return than the market return, then it will generate a greater wealth than the market wealth. So I believe reinvestment is the most important thing while generating the wealth. And if your business, your funds are not being well managed in reinvesting, then you're losing a greater amount of wealth in terms of regeneration of your capital in a compounding effect.
Thank you, sir, for the insights on this question. Coming back to the next, how should an entrepreneur balance short-term profitability with long-term asset creation, wealth creation? Or
Very important. See, it is like balancing between the consumption and the investment part of it. When we talk about it, there will be always two decisions: whether to invest or whether to spend. There will be only two decisions. So you have to take these two decisions very wisely. Whenever you are doing your business, you have to think about whatever you are investing is for the future, and whatever you are spending is for the current. So you need to think about whether the current investment is yielding a profit or is contributing to the wealth or growth of the company. If it is contributing to the growth of the company, then that investment should be done, and that is a short term investment. Of course, that is a short term decision because it has to be taken in a current way. Say, for example, in a less than 1 year, the decisions are based on current scenarios. And if you are thinking about the future of the company and the future that is dependent upon the long term wealth creation, then that decision has to be taken on the basis of that particular future which you want to see for the company. So the vision is very much important with regards to the wealth creation in terms of investment or consumption. Consumption is, of course, the need of the company, and the need should be restricted to the very minimal amount of it. And
for
if the
sure.
minimal amount of it is very much required, that the company cannot grow without that investment, without that expense, then that expense should be done, but in a budgeted manner. If you have not made any budget for that, that will be very bad on the side of the company, and the company will not be generating a the company will not be generating a good amount of wealth. So that is very much important, I believe.
For sure, sir. Now, coming back to the next question, what steps can small business take today to shift their mindset from profit to wealth?
See, you have to understand one thing. Likewise, I always feel that the business is like your life. It's like relatively your life. When you talk about what decisions you should take to target health in a coming future, what you will see, what you will say. If you want to look slim and you want to look fit, what you will do today from today?
I'll focus on my health by going gym or physically exercising at home.
Yeah. So you have seen, I will go to gym. I will start physical workouts. I will take care of my diet. I will take care of all the food stuffs which I do. The same lies with the business. There is a financial discipline which you should work on. You can start with basically taking care of your profits first, then taking care of your cash flows, maintain your cash flows well. Uh, Target, you do have the budget for that you have a budgeted profit, like we run our economy of every country runs their economy on budget basis. You get the budget for the next year and you predict that will be, this will be the revenues, this will be the expenses. You budget well and you compare that budget with the actuals, and you maintain your cash flows well. Then you see what will be the 5 years plan, 10 years plan in the coming future, and then you make an investment in that particular manner, that the 5 years plans and 10 years plan can be done through these investments. See, ultimately you have to go to the valuations, you have to go to the market to reach to the newer heights and to get your utmost potential of your business. So that will be the ultimate thing you should go. You should work on your valuation, what as an investor your business looks like. So if your business is a healthier one from the investor point of view, you being an investor likes to invest in your own business, you like your business as an investor, then you're doing a great job. So start thinking like an investor for your own business. This will be of great help to your own company, because now you will think whether this expense has to be made, whether this expansion has to be made, whether this has to be done or not. That can be easily seen if you when you start looking your business as an investor. If you are into the business, you will not see these kind of things. You see these are the problems. You will always talk about the challenges, that this will not work, this is a problem, these are the issues. But when you think your business as an investor, you will certainly think about it as a business, not as your emotional connect. So whenever you connect yourself with the business as with emotionally, you start losing your wealth.
Thank you, sir. Coming back to the next, could you share an example where a client of yours moved from a profit mindset to a wealth creation mindset?
See, Ajay, that's a very personal question, I believe. But yeah, of course, without naming the name of the clients, that is something which is very confidential. I can say some of my clients have done a great job in this regard. Even one of my clients is into jewelry business, and was even running their business as a just shopkeeper, and now they are working like a corporate jewelry firm. They've been opening stores like anything, and they what they've realized, earlier they cannot move from their own, you say gaddi na, they apna gaddi galla nahi chhod sakte the. Now they have left their galla and they are working like anything. They are expanding there. Even some of their franchises are running without the owner. So can you think a jewelry shop running without an owner, just in a span of 2 years they're thinking like that. So it is the mindset which has been shifted in their particular in that particular client, and they have done well, they have done relatively well. They have shifted from what if they have been from that place to 5x, they've already been there. So see, whatever they have done in the last 60 70 years, they have done in 5 6 years. That is the power of the change in mindset. And one of our clothing brand also have done a same thing, and now they are working well. They've been associated with us from last 3 years, and they have changed their mindset from this short term mindset to long term mindset. They are now valued around 200 crores. When they started, they were just having the wealth of around 10 12 crores. So this is the power of the change in mindset, I believe. And it's been working well with all the clients who have been working on that. Yeah, it may not be the same proportion with each and every client, but of course there will be the maximum exponential growth which can be done with each and every client once the mindset has been changed.
So, sir, moving on to the next question. If a business owner listening to this episode and could take away a message, then what should it be?
See, very, very good and relevant part of it. Like Ajay, I've already told you that the most important thing in the business is the wealth creation. And if you're only focusing on the profits, which is short term, and of course that is a short term mindset, and it is if it is not been aligned with your future vision, the vision of the company, then of course that will not serve your purpose. There may be things which you need to think as an investor. If you are thinking your business as an investor, and the business is an investable business, and you think you can create an investable business in the future by your actions, then only you should keep continuing work on your business. So the most important thing you should look upon, whether this building which you are creating like a business can be a building which can be sold in future, and you can create the multiple buildings out of it. Likewise, same building can be created multiple times, then it's a investable business and that can be replicated well. So my only suggestion is keep working on your wealth. Yes, of course, in spite of everything, profit is an important factor, but it should be aligned with the purpose that it should create wealth in future. So my only message is that you should keep working on wealth, and the profit should be aligned. Not only the profit should not be the only parameter. The various other parameters which is creating wealth and valuation of the company is the most important thing.
Thank you, sir, for your insight. So, we have started a new segment of the podcast, that is rapid fire. So, let me ask my question, sir. Wealth or profit What truly defines success today?
See, always it's wealth. Whenever you talk about success story, it's always been wealth, because what you left in after the completion of your life is your wealth. So wealth is always an important factor as than profit.
Would you rather own 5% of unicorn or 100% of local cash cow?
Of course, 5% of unicorn and multiple 5%. You can get, if you can get 105% of unicorn companies, that will be more than the owning 50 own companies of 100%.
That's shocking. What builds real wealth? Cash flow or brand equity?
Of course, brand equity, but cash flow is equally important. If you want to build a brand equity, that then cannot be done without cash flows.
Interesting. Can valuation become a trap for startups?
Yeah, of course, this has been a current scenario. We have been seeing that everyone is chasing valuations, but the startup should look forward for the business. If they do have the profitable and investable business, then of course you can get the valuation. And if you will chase the valuation, your business will not be always be a strategic investable business.
What's one tax saving strategy that most business owners avoid?
See, tech studies are something which is vivid and which cannot be associated with a single business on a single point of time. But for most of the businesses, of course, taking care of all the losses and booking all the losses and getting the benefit of losses in the future is very important thing. And apart from this, a use of depreciation well. If you are using a depreciation and you do have a new plant and machineries, that can be used well. And apart from this, one more thing which can be used is taxation of the companies, which can be well utilized in the benefit of the company for the wealth creation. So that is something. Say that is something which is different for each and every company.
What's what's dangerous for startups? Growing too fast or growing too slow?
See, that's always been a case. If you are organically growing too fast, is good, and there will be certain measures where the startups are growing not organically through a different modes. That's of course that's very risky for startups, because if you are not growing organically, that means your business has not deep rooted into the land, and if the business is not deep rooted into the lands, it will lose its existence.
Great. Coming to the last one, profit or cash flow? What should a business chase first?
Yeah, of course, cash flow. If you don't have the cash flow in your hand, you will land up where you don't have the business future. You cannot invest in any of the things. You cannot even take all the expenses in your hand. You cannot invest in the business. So if you want to take care of the business, and if you want to make sure that your business is sustainable business, then you should focus on cash flows.
Thank you, sir. That was the last one. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
the insights that you shared with us. Thank you so much.
And yes, of course, Ajay, it's been a great interaction talking to you, and I believe these future podcasts will be, of course, more interesting and more knowledgeable with regards to the SMEs
Of
and the
course, sir.
businessmen.
Of course. Thank you so much.